Hello,
Hey,
Hi.
ladies.
beautiful sorors. How are you?
Hey.
Good. How are you?
I'm amazing on purpose and in purpose.
Yes.
Well, hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Founders Week episode of the Flamingo Cafe. Whoop whoop. Ladies, let's introduce ourselves. I am Nico. My line name is Soror Miss Congeniality. My pronouns are she, her, and my social media Instagram is the underscore skin diva. Ladies, please introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shamye. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on Instagram at underscore the real Kim Parker and also underscore the brown sugar X.
All right. I am Crystal. My line name is NWA. I go by she, her, and you can find me on Facebook at Crystal Lynette.
And my name is Bev. My pronouns are she, her. I am Soror Savvy, and you can find me on Instagram at Favorite Holiday with two L's.
Perfect.
All right. Now that those intros are complete, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the host and the guests and do not reflect the views and opinions of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated.
Yes. Perfect, Bev.
Before we get started, happy Founders Week.
Yes.
Yes, happy Founders Week to all the sorors out there.
Yes.
Wait,
So proud to be a beta. It's a great time in the world to be a beta.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
22 years.
Absolutely.
Did you guys do anything fun for Founders Week, or do you have plans?
Well, Beta Zeta in Atlanta started our Founders Week off by giving back to the community. So we volunteered with March of Dime this past Saturday and provided direction and information for those that are participating in the walk. And it really felt good, of course, to be with our sorors, but to be out and to see people giving back to the community. So that was an amazing way to start our Founders Week.
absolutely.
What
It's
about
all
you, ladies?
giving back.
We are gonna have like a girls' night sometime this weekend. So since we're all in the Houston area, just hang out, play some games, talk, have fun, just girl time.
Be sisterly.
All
Right.
Like a adult slumber party. I'm here.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
We should get matching pajamas.
We should.
Oh,
we
yeah.
should.
Yes, and we can wear it on the show one day.
Have a pajama segment. Like,
Yeah.
Can you zoom me in? That sounds like fun. I have pajamas.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
So let's grab our flamingo cups and get started with this tea and kiki.
yes.
Yes.
All right, so now we're at the tea and kiki. So did you guys watch the BET Awards this weekend?
Part of it.
No,
Right.
I have not seen it yet.
So we
I have
so we
spoilers, but I haven't
know-
seen it yet.
Well, Diddy got the Lifetime Achievement Award, and we all know from Carisha Please that his new boo is Young Miami. So she's out in the crowd with her Go Poppy sign, and while she's doing this,
The cup.
Diddy is saying, thank you to Cassie for holding me down. And we know that Cassie's his ex-girlfriend. She held him down during the dark times, when Kim passed and all this. But she has this sign in the crowd, and he didn't say nothing about her.
Wow. Real bad.
I feel like you should be like, yeah, kind of like bringing the sign down, like, okay, like,
Wow. I would be a little bit sensitive of the fact that I'm here with a sign that looks like it belongs at a sporting event, and you think another woman
like,
with this nice dress on
and this big pretty smile.
Maybe they have an understanding. Maybe she knew. Maybe they talked about it beforehand.
Well, what
She
I've
knew
heard
Mhm.
recently is that she gets $250,000 from him every month.
Yes,
Oh,
did
well.
hear that.
Go Poppy.
Go Poppy. I'm Poppy too.
Honey, she needed some rhinestones.
Thank you,
I needed
Cassie.
some glitter.
Yeah.
Your final word.
You know, she can have a Go Poppy and turn around. Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie.
Right. Thank you
For holding him down. Yes.
Right.
But what about sis sitting next to her? Like, she looks like, girl, please.
Was
Girl,
she?
put
I
your
think
time
that's
down.
a child,
Whose
but I know.
child is that?
Yeah, whose child is that?
That's a child. Whose child is that?
Yeah.
But we know JT is on the side with her boo, and she's smiling. She's like, "That's my friend. I'm gonna support my friend. I'm gonna hold her down to the
That's
end."
my friend, and I'm gonna stand
Anyway.
beside her.
Right. That's my friend. I'm gonna stand beside. Go, Poppy.
Go, Poppy.
Go, Poppy.
Thank you, Cassie.
So next,
we have some sorors in the chat. Hello, ladies. Happy Founders Week.
hey. So the next juicy little topic, this is going to get the people going. So there is a couple who was having sex in a Brooklyn Chops steakhouse. So they were they had a little private booth, and what I'm hearing is that these private booths have like curtains and dividers and partitions. So they're back, food on the table, cheeks clapping. So
that is a sheer.
They got the filet mignon right there.
Right.
There's not enough privacy in a restaurant. I don't want that next to my palate.
I just don't understand why we're wasting this good food. Like, I just don't understand why we're wasting this good food. I'm sure that meal cost a pretty penny.
Maybe it was the food. Maybe the food was so delicious.
Not Adolphia.
They had a little bit of oysters as their appetizer.
Most people have good food, and when you taste it, you kind of kick your feet. Others do something else. I mean, I just kind of rock and just shake because I'm happy, but maybe this is
I don't know about doing the do at the table in the restaurant, whether it has the curtains or not. I mean, when I'm ready to eat, I'm ready to eat, and I don't want to eat that while I'm trying to eat that.
Oh my God. Because that is really aside from that, I mean, I think there's like laws that are broken. Like, you can't just do that. You gotta, what if it was kids in the building? Like, that's a whole nother different kind
but
of
you said they had like curtains or something too that was kind of like covering it up, maybe. I don't know.
You need drapes, sis. Curtains are not enough. You need the thick old grandma drapes.
You need the blackout ones.
You need the blackout.
They obviously honestly didn't care about the curtains or getting caught. They knew what they were doing, honestly. Yeah. They went there. They were having a nice night. Yeah. It was fun.
They were there for the thrill.
Word.
A definite fun adrenaline rush, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not taking a chance. Sorry.
Right.
We gotta wait.
No.
Cab at least.
Not in the restaurant.
Absolutely.
In the Uber.
Some Uber confessions. Because remember that show, Taxi Cab Confessions?
Oh, yes.
Whole nother situation.
Now, I had no business watching it, but I do remember.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
So I just got old for a second, man. So, Shamye, what did you do for Founders Week? And what are you doing?
What I traveled across the country and back. I got to go to a casting call for the first time, and that was a great experience. I learned a lot. I stayed up until 2 a.m. filming. It was exciting and tiring and all the feelings, and I was ready to go home by the time it was over, but it was a great experience, and I learned a whole lot during the process. So yeah, that is actually how I started my Founders Week.
These wonderful betas making power moves. We're gonna see you on a big screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually, I will be later on giving more information. You got to sign paperwork and keep your mouth closed for a certain amount of time. So once I'm able to, open my mouth, I will open my mouth.
Perfect.
All right,
ladies. Let's go ahead and switch over to a little bit of politicking. We started off, with our tea and kiki, but I am going to get into some real information about what's going on in the world. So I'm sure everyone at this point has heard about Roe versus Wade and it being turned over by the Supreme Court. So that happened on Friday, June 24th. That was the first time in U.S. history that a constitutional right was overturned by the Supreme Court. What this did was put the decision in the state's hands on abortion laws. So the governor of each state is allowed to decide whether or not they will be anti-abortion or have anti-abortion laws and make it criminal in their state. Wow. What are thoughts on this? What are our thoughts? I know we've had time to marinate. We've seen a whole lot of stuff happen since the 24th. How do we feel?
Overwhelmed and disheartened. Like this is just a step in one direction of changing things that were made for a reason. And I don't want someone to tell me what I can do with my body. Even if you don't agree with it, I should have the right to choose what I do with myself.
My body, my choice.
My body, my choice.
And
Yes.
like we have a little toy. She's saying this is the time to vote. Like, make sure you go out and vote. Everybody's like, well, how do I know if my vote is being counted? And if I'm even being heard? Like, go vote for everything, not just the president.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
governors.
Yeah, vote for
You need
everything.
to start voting at your local elections. That is where it is most important. I think we forget that. That is where it matters the most. Who our superintendents are determine how the school funds are, used. Who your governor is now determines your abortion laws.
Right.
Like the mayoral elections, who's your senator, who's your congresswoman or man. Like, you need to know and be voting for these people.
Because these people are speaking for you. Absolutely. And when you think of, well, what does my vote do? Your vote adds to a larger group, and that group makes a big effect. So don't not get involved just because you don't think you as an individual. It's us as a collective that make things happen.
Yes. Take your friends, take your neighbors, carpool.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
according to this map, these orange states, that's where the big issue is.
Yes.
Sure.
These are the states are likely to have abortion laws. I know that specifically in Louisiana and I believe it's Utah, they had trigger laws in place. However, their state judges have put a hold on those, and they did not go through the way they thought they would.
And now I saw recently that they're trying to control how much Plan B that you purchase as well. Plan B is not a birth control, and that's what people need to understand.
Yeah,
they're cracking down on that as well.
You see, the companies are trying to monitor or to limit to how many you can purchase because people are going out and buying all of them like crazy. Like, how about teaching about safe sex practices and other ways to avoid possible to not create a child, to not get pregnant at all. Of course, there's in situations where things happen, unfortunately, but it's education that we also need, not just to go and buy all of them for what I might do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It also opened the doors, like our person in the comments says, it opened up the doors for same-sex marriage to be overturned.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy.
And they've already started talking about, overturning other court cases. A senator posted on Twitter to attack Plessy versus Ferguson in Brown versus Board of Education next. We can talk about the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, who already is concurring statement, is already talking about attacking more rights. So this is a big deal.
Absolutely.
This is a really big deal.
They're going to try to attack hopefully not, but same-sex marriages, what you do in your life. My privacy now is like an open book to others. And then as far as women, like we have all of these gentlemen that
having things to say,
decisions about those that don't have a vagina.
Yes.
Yes.
Out of that.
Like, it almost goes into almost like with the HIPAA laws as well. Like, your employer can possibly get your medical history, or the apps that we use on our phone to keep track of our period and ovulations. Like, it may be public information soon. Like,
and we have to be mindful of what we put out as well.
Yeah. And that's scary to think about. It's scary to think about, like, just wanting to keep track of your cycle.
Right.
And have the information stored like somewhere you're going to remember it or be able to access it at all times can now become public information. That's really, really scary to think about.
And then what would
another thing I wanted to to just like address and bring up is the fact that a lot of these people are like anti-abortion, but there are 438,000 children in the foster care system right now.
Yes,
and so these babies are in the system and they're not being adopted. So what about that?
Or having the parent that lives in poverty
Yep.
who can't afford to take care of the child, but then you're paying the
Mm-hmm.
foster parent to take care of the child.
They just mad because it's not
Exactly.
enough white people being produced in the world. So they're trying to do something to stop that. That's at the end of the day.
And that's horrible to think of. This is the
Yeah.
direction you want to go in. You
Yeah,
want to know what I can do with my
like
body.
this the world that we live in.
It
Yep.
is.
Yeah.
It's one thing. It's like since 2020, things have just gotten progressively worse to attack
Yep.
culture, women, ethnicity,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they want to act like, well, it's not racial. It is. It
It
definitely
is at the end of the day. Yep.
Mhm.
it
That's
is.
what it all boils down to.
But everybody wants
Absolutely. And honestly, I think we could spend so much time talking about this. Like this could be an episode in its own because
But yeah.
there's so many thoughts, opinions, perspectives that can go into this. So maybe that's something we should talk about. You know, maybe making this Roe versus Wade conversation an episode moving forward because there's a lot to talk about surrounding it. But it's definitely I do want to encourage our people because we do have to move forward. It is definitely time to go out and vote, right? We need to start putting the right people in our offices and making sure that they stand for what we stand for. It is time for us to get knowledgeable about who is in our office, okay? So we can stop all this nonsense that's going on because that's what it is, honestly. It's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We are holding accountable.
Yeah,
Oh, with
absolutely.
pride.
Hold them
Yes.
vote with pride.
Yes,
Pride.
yes. I need a new I need some new shirts. We need new shirts, y'all. So we can wear them for an episode. Putting that out there. Speaking of pride, last year we talked about this. I'm not gonna get deep into it, but last year we talked about the business of pride. If y'all want to, go back to that episode, that was our Founders Week episode last year. That is where we got heavy into the topic. But again, every year, we even saw it this month, there are billions of dollars made. And in comparison, pennies are being donated to LGBTQ charities, communities, etc., especially those of color. And so let's make sure that next
Yes,
year we try
Car.
to go volunteer. Yes, Car. Now, one business who has been doing a great job with their pride awareness and support is NASCAR. And NASCAR had I lived for when I saw
I
that
love it.
giving me
Yes,
life,
Car.
honey.
Yes.
And so
Yes, Car.
wanted to
Yes.
shout them out, wanted the people to see this. This made me giggle. And so I wanted to end on a high note for our politicking. And y'all maybe watch a NASCAR show or two, I guess. Support it, maybe.
Let's go to a race. The beta take over
Watch
the
a race. Come on,
NASCAR race.
TV.
Let's go to Charlotte.
Yes.
Yes,
All
Car.
right.
Ladies, this is some awesome information. But don't worry, everyone. There's so much more to come. So we'll be right back after this message. All right, so moving on to Founders Week. We're celebrating big time, ladies. This year, 22 years of excellence and sisterhood, victory with pride and awareness through education. And it is true beta fashion that we discuss women empowerment. By doing so, we have some amazing, amazing, amazing guests today. We have Soror Lucy Little and Soror Adalphi Johnson. So Lucy Little has had over 7 years experience in the finance and human resource industry. A self-described awkward introvert, Lucy has a bubbly, upbeat personality and is genuinely passionate about supporting those around her. She is known amongst her friends and family as always rooting for the underdog and being the first person to volunteer her time and resources and spontaneously bursting into song and dance. And I know that is true because I love me some Lucy. She has taught me quite a few dances. She has been heavily involved with Beta Phi Omega Sorority and for many years and is currently working with the Human Rights Campaign as the steering co-chair, volunteer chair, and recently served as the first Black woman to serve as the dinner co-chair. So Lucy Little, thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
And our soror, Reverend Adalphi Johnson, roots in community activism and spiritual development with over 20 years of experience. Born and raised in Washington, D.C., she has consistently worked with community-based organizations to lead mentoring programs for Black girls in Ward 8. Soror Johnson joined Beta Phi Omega Sorority, and as she continues to be and to serve a community through volunteer and advocacy efforts. Welcome, sorors. I'm so happy to have you here. You are amazing in all that you do. Yay!
Oh, hey, thank you for having me at the cafe.
Wow.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, ladies, we have some questions for you, beautiful ladies. First of all, it must be heavy to be so dope, to be who you are and be a beta. Like, that's got to be quite a weight, sorors.
Yeah, listen, that's funny. I like it.
That's a really great way of putting it.
Right.
So, Adolphe, like after all of your accomplishments and everything, like what made you want to become a member of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated?
It was important for me to be able to connect with an organization in a sisterhood of women who shared the same values that I had. I refuse to go back in the closet for anybody, for anything. I have been out for way too long. And if I can't bring my full self into the space, honestly, I don't want to be bothered. So Beta was home. Beta was a place that I was like, I can be all of who I am, bring all of my queerness, my sensuality, my femininity, all of my tattoos and lipstick, and just bring it into this space and just be and exist. So, I mean, who would not want to be a beta woman?
Right.
Better say that.
That is a commercial.
Yes.
Absolutely. We have to make sure you write that down because that is a commercial.
Yes.
Adolphe's vibe in person is good too. So I love all of that. And with you, Lucy, with you being a member of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated for, a while, how has that empowered you as a woman in your personal life?
Wow. Oh, wow. I always say that Beta is my longest relationship. We're going on 15 years.
Yes.
But Beta has definitely empowered me to use my voice and trust myself, right? Anyone that has ever met me will say that I'm unique, and that's even putting it mildly, okay? But I don't always do what's deemed as typical or follow the status quo. And then Beta has came in and molded me to be unapologetically who I am. And either you're going to get it or you're not, point blank.
Period.
Well, our kind of beauty is not for everyone.
No.
It's heavy. Heavy.
And like you said, all of us, it's like we all feel like you gonna love me regardless. You're gonna be my sister regardless. You're gonna be mad and you're gonna be like, hey girl.
In the next 5 minutes, hey girl, what you doing?
Right.
Absolutely.
Adolphe, how do you stay positive and encouraging as a Black queer woman and being a religious leader? Like, how do those two marry?
That's interesting that you asked that, because like one of the things that I've always been super passionate about is allowing for both sides of my world to have a beautiful marriage into one. I love my faith-based, spaces. I love being able to talk about those things, but I also like talking about sex and women's empowerment and what that means, and being able to beautifully collide those together in a way that, allows for folks to feel empowered, that allows for folks to be seen, that allows for folks to feel like I'm dope just as I am, and I can bring all of that into the space. Like Beta was that home for me. I didn't feel like I had to take off one hat to put on another hat. Like I could bring all of my hats into the space. So it's hard, it's crap. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like some days I am over it.com. I'm like, humans,
that's real.
Nerves, why are folks so difficult to work with? Why are folks so difficult to be with? But because I'm committed to making this world a better place, and I know what I needed when I was growing up, like I let all of that stuff go to the side and just stay committed to the work that I do.
I have that too. I can use that in my real life too, because as an educator, you're like, I'm all of this, and I'm gonna come to work for y'all. That's how I feel. Every day, I'm here for you.
And then wine after 5, wine helps.
Wine.
What do you do when you don't drink wine? I don't drink.
Well, honey, you gotta meditate and
yes, light some candles, run a bubble bath.
You know what you do, Lucy?
Fix your Shirley Temple and just like
she doesn't drink.
I said a Shirley Temple.
A Shirley Temple is not
Shirley
alcoholic.
Temples are amazing. I love them.
Lucy, you can talk to your water. When I have water, 'cause sometimes I don't have a cocktail, I talk really wonderful things to my water, and I feel like it's giving me all that I needed. Because I'm, like you said, I'm dope no matter what. I'm
Mhm.
See, I
period.
got that from Nicole. Like
Period.
literally, I take time out to write things and put it on my water. And as I drink my water, I'm manifesting those things that's on my cup. So I do that, and Nicole taught me that.
Well, that's
Give me
perfect.
that Diddy. Give me that Diddy allowance.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
please.
to the 50 line.
I can't do what she do for that allowance though.
Listen,
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and hard pass.
now my knees don't work like that, but
Well, well, Lucy, let me ask you a question. What would your advice be for a seasoned member to like reignite that fire in them as a beta? Because I've been a member for 17 years, and I know you've been a member. You said going on 15 years. So, what do you do to, what would you say to inspire another soror who has been here for a while and just really get that new beta energy again?
Yeah, and I mean, which is totally understandable. We all go through seasons and phases in our lives where whether it's relationship personally, your beta relationship, your work relationship, where you need that little extra to kind of get back into it. So my response would be, remember your why.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you choose beta? Why did beta choose you? Why are you here? And if you can sit in the why, it always gives you that, at least for me, gives me that like nice and warm and fuzzy feeling, because like the world isn't perfect, things aren't perfect, everything is not going to go the way you hoped.
Mm-hmm.
But remembering why you're here and what made you start this journey in the first place will always puts me back into the center of it all.
I feel like we all need that,
Absolutely. That's
especially
great.
coming off of the pandemic. And we're still in the pandemic, but just trying to get back, being together with each other. We all need that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
Lucy, I
beta.
want to follow up
Mhm.
to Nico's question and ask, like, as a more tenured member, what inspires you about the growth of our sisterhood from, your journey beginning till now?
Oh, what inspires me? No, it's like, because that for me is a kind of a complex question, because I've seen so much and I've been through so much with this organization, and I've met so many wonderful people over the years. So I think for me, seeing the growth of the organization over the almost 15 years that I've been a member, and realizing and knowing that we haven't even scratched the surface of what we are
Mhm.
going to do, what we have done, that right there is inspiring. Like, look how much we've done in the 22 years. And this
Yes.
is like, we literally out here making changes and making moves that no one ever thought was possible. Well, we're literally one of the first organizations to do it, right?
Right.
So we continue to be an example and set the bar for what's possible. So for me, that's inspiring within itself.
True. True. We are making history no matter what every day.
Every day we are making history. We're doing things that no LGBT org ever thought it would be doing in 22 years ago, right?
Yes. Sora says we are setting the
Absolutely.
bar high at that.
Hi.
Listen, we
Yes.
are the bar. We are the bar.
We are the bar.
Period.
We are the bar. I like that.
We are the sky, because the bar is the limit. We're the sky.
We're the
Mm.
sky.
Like,
Yes,
no.
Period. Period.
I love that.
I think I want to gear this question towards the both of you, because both of you are on different platforms. So I would say, what has Beta offered you or could offer you that none of your other platforms have?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh,
Lucy, you want to go first?
no, go ahead, sis. I see you moving.
So I would say for me, like the biggest thing that Beta is offering me is like the ability to know that lesbian women, that queer women are strong, that we are powerful beyond measure, that we are able to lead and completely dismantle the system
Mhm.
and barriers. Like, I'm community service driven 120%. Like, it's a part of my DNA. And so being able to be in the spaces where we are leading, like we're doing this thing, like, we are showing up, we are talking about social ills, how we are showing up for folks who are in marginalized situations where folks have always counted one, women out, two, Black women out,
Mm-hmm.
three, queer and lesbian women out. But we're able to say, no, like, we got this, we doing this, like, sit back and take notes because we know what we're doing and we're making this thing happen.
Yeah.
Definitely sit back and take notes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Absolutely.
just on the heels of what she's saying, we are all so very different in this organization. We all have our own story. We came here with our own story. We have different walks of life. And what this organization provides that I haven't gotten anywhere else is that no matter how different we are and how much our differences like tend to be the first thing that people notice, we're a family.
We are.
And this is a family that you can't get anywhere else. Like we will hold you down like no other. And then we build you up and we give you an example of what is possible. We have sorors with master's degrees, with businesses, and I can look to you and get the blueprint for what I need at all times. And they're always willing to help, right? So it doesn't matter what my chosen family looks like, or even if I have one or not, I can always come back to home. And that's what Beta offers you is home.
You know, and it's interesting, Lucy, because like oftentimes when we think about women, you know, not everybody, but some folks, they're like, oh, women can't get along. You know, women are oh so catty, you know.
Or they
Women,
fetishize us.
right. You know, like, oh, think about like, oh, what does your body do? Like, what are you doing when you're in these other spaces
Yes.
outside of, you know, this public forum? And it really goes to show that while we all are different, as you stated, and while we all come from different walks of life, like there's a common goal that we all have together. There's a thread that is keeping us connected, that despite we may not like each other, but we love each other and we're going to hold each other accountable and we're going to support each other by all costs. So,
That's your sister. That's what a sister does.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, Dalphie, I have a question for you and for Lucy. I actually would like to both of y'all to answer this one as well. If this were to be, or you knew this was your last day, what would you want somebody to remember about you?
Dang.
Well, you know, we are powerful, magical, so we got to bring the questions that's going to get that out of you, because, you know, everybody wants to be us, so they got to know what's going on. They want to know about the magic.
Right. I think for me, I want to be remembered as quirky and uniquely who I am, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I want you to remember that I'm always moving from my heart, right?
Yeah.
Everything I do is heart driven. I may not get it right. I'm going to mess up, but everything I did was from my heart, and I will support and move as a heart being. I was put on this earth to love, point blank in the period. I'm a 6, I'm a Libra. Everything I do is about love. So that's what I want someone to know, is I moved in every orifice of my space in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it makes
that's
me think
beautiful.
about, yeah, it is. And Lucy, as I was thinking about like, what would I want my legacy to be? So there's something I tell my congregation at church every Sunday, is that I love you and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Yes. Nothing. And so for me, like what I want my legacy to be is that folks will know, oh, she gonna ride for you all day. You know, if you at the bottom, she gonna be at the bottom with you. If she at the top, I'm at the top with you. And that in all things, like I genuinely love everybody.
Yeah.
Genuinely love. I may not like your actions, I may not like your characteristics, but I genuinely love everybody.
And I think that's the basis of women, since we're talking about women empowerment, is I don't always have to like your choices, or I don't even have to like you. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that you're lifted when you need to be, or if I need to have that conversation when we do, that's women empowerment. We ain't got to be friends and kikiing every second of the day to empower you or for you to empower me. But I show up when I need to show up.
Yep. And that's what matters.
Yeah. Definitely. Soros, would you all like to add to, what would you want your legacy to be?
For me, I just like they said, like I love you, and I'm someone who's always there for you no matter what. You know, we may not always have the best agreement every single day or every moment, but when you need me, I'm there. I'm funny. I like to have fun, but I also, you know, get you together real quick. But yeah, that's it. I'm well-rounded.
Yeah.
I'm a well-rounded friend.
I think I would have to agree that like I will be known to I've always been my authentic self. So with Crystal, it's like you know what you're gonna get. Like she's gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And if you mad, you know, whatever, she's gonna love you and do whatever she can for you. So
Yeah. What about you, Shamia?
Um, I don't know. I think I am known for like honestly like disappearing into the shadows. I think Crystal, babe, y'all know I will disappear quick, but I show up when it's important. I do. And because I want the people I love to know, like, hey, no matter how deep into my little box I go, when you need me, I'm gonna come out because you're important to me and I love you. So yeah.
And that gives me chills. I've been a member for 17 years, and this is why I'm a member. This conversation we're having right now, all I hear is you all say love, and love is why I'm a part of this organization. Love is why we're all here, and love is what keeps us moving. And you know, if anything, my legacy would be that I loved on purpose, in purpose, unapologetically, and that I made you feel like you were loved. And this organization has shown me that, has grown that in me, and allowed me to express that. So that's beautiful. I love y'all.
Yes, and I felt the love at the retreat from all of y'all. Like,
yes, the retreat.
Yes,
like,
it was beautiful. It was a
For
great
sure.
time. That was really like
too
peaceful to my
short.
soul.
Yes, too short. It was like
It
I just
was.
told them. I was like, I want to go back in the woods. We have fun.
I'm sad I missed it, but I'm gonna be very intentional about being at the next one for sure.
Yeah, I heard
Yes,
how amazing it
Like,
was.
I don't know if I want to go back to like having the bugs like crawling around my bed. Like I literally was spraying bug spray.
Like, it was fun though. It was
Like,
fun
we
though.
don't have no roaches running around us tonight. Like,
Jesus. Well,
but
so in
we
the
had a
chat
really
says
good
love
time,
all over.
and I think it was what everybody needed. Like just being able to come together and have a sacred, safe place where we can share our emotions. A lot of times it got really, really heavy. But I think it was what everybody needed, and just to know that everyone is there for them and to feel loved.
And like that's the opinion of what this organization is. We're not all about we do our service and we give back to the community, but we also take a step back to give back to ourselves and each other. So
Yes.
to have a healing retreat, right? Is something that's very unique about who we are and what we do. It's not just about the balls and the awards and the adoration, but we take time to pour back into ourselves and pour back into our sisters intentionally.
Absolutely. Adelphi, there's a question for you from the chat. What advice would you give someone interested in seminary?
Run. No, I'm just playing. No, seriously, like don't run. Like, but no. So take the risk. Like
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing when I went to seminary. When I say none, I mean no idea. I did not have because I went to school in Richmond and I was driving back and forth to Richmond from DC 2-3 days a week and sometimes staying overnight. I ain't had no money. I was broke, working a job that was paying me less than my worth, but I was crazy enough to believe that, I'm gonna go to seminary, get this degree. You know how we do. I'm gonna go get this degree and see what this thing is all about. And it was a very eye-opening experience. Like I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the religious world because I felt like I had been in such a bubble,
Right.
in my understanding and what I knew. And but my advice is if you want to go.
Yep.
Like either you're gonna like it or you're gonna hate it, but you won't know until you do it.
And that's on everything. You can relate that to anything.
Yeah. And like everybody is not called to pastor.
And don't just take anybody's word for it. You go and get your own experience.
Yes, go and get your own experience. Like how it's going to be financed, figure that out along the way. I didn't have a car. My car was trashy as a mug. I ended up getting a car and being able to go. Sometimes I didn't know where I was going to be staying in a hotel. I was winging it on a quarter tank of gas to get to Richmond and get back to DC. But it's that faith walk and not understanding what's going to come out on the other side, but believing that you're going to be committed enough to just see it through. So do it. Yeah. If you're thinking about it, do it.
But we have a question from one of our beta babies for Lucy. Lucy, what advice would you give a Neo?
Take out some of that paraphernalia. No, I'm just
And I'm like, let me get my Amelia up.
Hang it in the closet.
just don't get it
Happy to wear
all
my
on at one
letters.
time.
Now, you
Don't
know,
put-
when you first start, you see everything pink and blue, and you just got to buy it. Every flamingo just
Every
pops out.
flamingo, every dolphin, and put it on all at
Here.
one time.
I got a little keychain.
I'm still here with it 17 years in.
Right.
I painted a flamingo for my yard. I have a flamingo
Oh, my
painted for the yard for the summer.
Oh no, so cute.
I think what I would say to a Neo is ask questions. I think when we say the journey starts now, when you have now made it over to the other side, is a real thing. And don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't believe that just because you're new that you have to sit back and wait for something else.
Mhm.
Right? There's that I got to go from Neo to pro fight in order to have a voice. No, you're here because you had something to offer. So don't shy away from your voice and what you want and what you see, because we want to know your perspective, and you're here to take us to the next level. So remember that.
Absolutely. We have
You know
another
what?
question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say something like, even with me and Shamia being 3 years, coming up, you got to give if you want something from it. It's like a give. It's not like a take relationship. It's like you got to give to the organization. You got to flower it. You got to feed it, and then then you'll get everything that you need from the organization too. So always remember to water your flower.
Yes,
And
and
I
have
think-
patience.
I
Yes.
think like to piggyback on that, like a lot of people come in and they're like, well, nobody reached out to me, or nobody did this, or nobody was there when I needed them and I had this going on. Like, if you don't speak up, we don't know.
Mm.
So you need to let us know how we can, how you need to be loved. Like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
I know how to be there for you.
And I'm good at doing random checks on some of you, and I'm real spacey like that. But like you said, if you don't let me in, how am I supposed to get in?
Yeah. And we also, you chose to look into the organization, and the organization also chose you. So know you have value to us. So show us who you are, so we can definitely support where your growth is going to take you. Speaking of which, we have one more question. This is for both of you, beautiful sorors. Where do you see yourself in the org, and where do you see the org going in the future? So from now, yes.
Go ahead.
So I see myself in the org filling in any gaps that exist. I am a firm believer in creating space, filling in space, all of that. So one, filling in any gaps that exist, but then also being able to bring and offer the leadership skills that I have, and the connections and the networks, and all of that, to really help amplify the voice of Beta Phi Omega. Like, in my personal opinion, I'm like, everybody should know about Beta. Like, it should be on the lips, the tongues, the hearts of everybody, especially women and persons that look and think like us, and whatever that means. And so, where do I see the org? Like, years from now, and this is not like a bunch of years from now, but even soon, like that we are literally on every college campus, that we are in every community, that we are in every state. Like, folks can't think about sisterhood without thinking about Beta.
Absolutely. I love it.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I've held a lot of different positions over the years. So I think that right now, where I see myself is cheering on everyone else as they get their opportunity to hold those positions and take up that space. Because that's what I want to see. I want to see all of you taking up such a major space that I can't breathe when I get into the room, right? Because I feel like you're powerful enough to do that.
Lucy.
Right.
Yes.
No, I'm
That
serious.
was-
Like, I don't say much. I don't come. I've been doing. We've been doing this for a while. We'd have been to every data ball. We'd have been to every retreat. We'd have been. So it's like, I want to see you come in there and bring your creativity, and what you have to offer. Because I've I've had conversations with a few of you, and I know what your potential is, and I want to see what your potential can do for the organization. Where I see the organization going is limitless, right? I
Yes.
want us to be able to go to Avis and get the beta discount, right?
Yes.
I want us to be a part of the conversations at the White House when we're talking about the LGBT roundtables. That's where I see beta going. Like, this is like what we've done has been spectacular, but we continue to go to the next level and take things to the next level with members like Latoy, and our founders who come into spaces, and everybody wants to know them. Like, we literally went to an HRC conference where we got standing ovations on a national.
That was so
And the
good.
national president of the organization. That's the level that we are on, and that's where we continue to thrive and go to.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, 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 beautiful. We have one more question. How has Beta empowered you and expanded your life and your thoughts as members?
It has taught me the leader that I want to be, the leader that I don't want to be, and it has also taught me the power of patience. So that's something that has been invaluable, because I've taken that in every other aspect of my life, in the different roles. You can't help it, because as long as you have a passion for this organization is going to catapult you to wherever you want to go, whether you know where you want to go or not, right? You may step into a role as a secretary and don't want to be a secretary, but you take the skills that you've learned and you apply it somewhere else.
Yes.
So I think that's what Beta does.
I agree. Totally agree. That's a word.
Yeah, I would say for me, like, one of the things that Beta has done for me, like, I don't like public recognition at all. And that's one of the things that I've struggled with for quite some time. Like, I do stuff on public platforms, but I don't like public recognition. Folks don't have to tell me, oh, you did a great job, or, oh, this is wonderful. Like, I don't want to hear all that. It made me feel uncomfortable. And one of the things, even since I have been a part of Beta, that has really been shaping and molding me is like, no, sis, like, absorb all of that, like, lean into all of that, be very unapologetic about all of that. You don't have to hide what you have done. You don't have to hide who you are. No, sis, shine and be okay with shining, and that's completely okay. So that's something that I've definitely, over this past couple of months, of last year, that has been very instrumental in my life.
That's what betas do.
That's
Period. Truly your cheerleaders, your support group, your family, your chosen family. Yeah, the sorors have shown up for me, which is why I continue to be a member in ways that I didn't expect, especially expecting it to be from my family. And now it's from my sorors that are my family. So I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's okay to be great. One of the sisters says it's okay to be great. Absolutely.
That's my bestie. That's so cool.
Our baby said it's transformational. Absolutely transformational.
Yes.
Well, ladies, it's been such a pleasure to have this opportunity to share space with you all. I just think that this is so phenomenal. Like I said, I get chills just even having this conversation with y'all and hearing how you view your position in this world, how you view your position in Beta, and just being a part of this amazing conversation with beautiful Black women that all get along. So don't let the world tell us otherwise. It's just dope. This is dope. You said it's just dope on purpose. Naturally, we just dope. This is what it feels like. And it's heavy being this dope.
Yeah.
Right.
It's heavy being this dope.
So, Nico, what's the Skinny on Skin? Tell us about this new.
Well, I'm sure, or maybe you have heard about the different skin issues that are going on with estheticians, some of which are in Atlanta, and how they have definitely been, I guess I say, doing things with the skin that may not have been the best. Where we had a client, one of the estheticians in Georgia, there was a client that had gotten some very evasive treatments for exfoliation and ended up with some burns. And this has happened on 2 different occasions with 2 different estheticians. So what the Skinny is on Skin, I have advice for clients that want to get services and even professionals that want to provide them. Do your research. First things first, do your research on what you want to accomplish when it comes to your skin. What are we looking for? Are we looking for getting rid of brown spots? Are we looking for some good exfoliation? What is it you want? So I encourage you to, do your own research a little bit. And then also do the research on the person that's going to provide it to you. Make sure that they have got some great results already provided. Are they really out there promoting themselves in a professional manner that you would want to receive a treatment? Because it's not like with your hair, you can put some weave on or a wig. This is my face. There's no bag that's going to be this fine. So you
can't put a lace front on your skin.
You can't put a lace front in the front, So, and also when you are getting these treatments, make sure that you ask plenty of questions before the service starts, and they should be able to openly tell them to you, because that's important that you as a consumer or client, you're able to say, I'm going to commit to whatever the instructions are after. Your aftercare is just as important as getting the treatment. And then when you have any questions after you're receiving this treatment, follow up immediately. Like if you have something that feels a little weird or something is just not what you were expecting, have that conversation immediately with that provider. So therefore we can get things taken care of in advance. You never want to just wait and just assume things are going to get better, because we want to know what's going on with your skin. Skin is real funny. It may look okay right now, but then when you get home, it's doing something weird. Call that professional and say, what, is this normal? Am I okay? Do I need to come back?
When you're getting your waxing too, be
no
like,
matter what it is.
Pay attention to everything. Look at all of your body parts after you get your services.
Yes.
And if it's not doing what it's doing, hey,
is this normal? And as professionals out there that are listening, I am a licensed esthetician and an aesthetic instructor. Follow up with your clients. Within 24 hours, call that client and ask them, how's everything going? How's your skin going? Do you feel okay? Do you have any questions for me? Because sometimes people don't think it's anything and they don't ask, and then something goes awry. So, and it's hot out here, ladies. It's hot. So please, I know from the most fair to the most beautifully velvety, rich, and melanin, everybody needs SPF. There's no way around it. Everybody, you do not have a permanent umbrella with this brownness. Protect it. Everybody needs SPF. So that's my fun facts for the skinny on skin, sis.
Yes, for the skinny on skin. So, after all of the good excitement and having our special guest on the show, I do want to close it out with just a spoken word and affirmation for us. And so today it's the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. And that's by Ralph Emerson. We are no longer holding on to our old limitations and lacks. We are stepping out and becoming our true, authentic selves.
You better say that, sis.
Yes. So, I do want to thank you all so much for tuning in to today's show. It was the joy of having you both here. Please follow us on all of our social media networks and platforms. And just be sure to check out our next episode.
Season 2 is
here. Bye.